Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Solo Score Rush. Going to be another one of our Saturday matches, and a really interesting match to see. We have Tonels versus Tomskuu. Some pretty well-known players, especially in the matches they've played over the past few weeks. Going to be very interested to see how this is going to turn out, especially in quarterfinals. So, in the commentary booth is going to be Nightcore. Joining me is going to be Sonny. How are you doing?
Hello, hello. It is going great. A little bit of time to just to take a little breather after that very intense match earlier today. But we are back. It's going to be Tonels versus Tomskuu. And honestly, this is going to be very interesting. Seeing a player like Tonels already in the losers bracket is something to be scared of, as I believe they were knocked down there by A-Stall last week. And I mean, it kind of shows in this seed differential. Seed 8 versus seed 39. It does look very scary at first, but I mean, we are no stranger to seeing insane upsets happen. So it would be very interesting to see how this match will go. And I'm pretty hyped to see this as well. But I believe the players are getting started with the procedures. I think they're getting into their roles and all the fancy stuff.
That is if chat syncs. We love Laser Klein with his chat. So,
Oh yeah,
what really interests me
very
about
stable.
what really interests me about this match is I wouldn't call these two players polar opposite. I would say Tonal definitely a bit more feared when it does come to the tournament scene. Of course, placing second in 4DM tour. Of course, placing second with Team USA last year. Also playing in some other well-known tourneys. Actually getting pretty far into Romania Cup as well. And Tomskuu as well has kind of made a name for themselves when it does come to Finland. I do believe playing in Mini World Cup for Finland when they did qualify, if I do remember correctly, seed 27th. Definitely a very physical player compared to Tonal. So we're gonna have to see, will the pure accuracy be able to outrival Tomskuu, or will the physicality get to Tonal and will it go over towards his favor?
Yes, and I think you put that very well. I know I've seen Tonels a lot in their performance here uh, with with their long note performance, as they are very strong in that long note department. I have not seen Tomskuu play yet, and it looked like Tomskuu wasn't in the lobby for a bit, but now they are. So
They actually did have a more relaxing week last week, as they did get a win by default. But when it came to wait, hold on.
huh?
Wait. Oh, wait, no, that was round of 16.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. But when it came to round of 32, they were shorted out a bit by NAD. For the first conditional, of course, they did beat Gold Pigeon by 30,000 points, which I do remember casting for one of those matches, but I don't really remember. It was like 2 weeks ago. But oh well.
Yeah, the time does fly by fast. So, oh, our client is just gone.
Okay. I think we got stuff all set up now.
Yeah, we should be okay now. Hopefully.
Alright, so I think it is Tonal is going to be winning the world by 60,000 points, getting the first pick. So Tomskuu going to ban LN1, not really too surprised. I think Tomskuu is definitely a lot weaker compared to Tonal when it does come to long note. And Tonal going to be obliged to ban Rice 1, going to be both very strong picks. And actually going in straight away with LN3, I do believe it's going to be our tech. I do believe it's going to be our tech LN.
Yeah, jumping into that technical LN pick. The red shoes here. And I honestly makes sense from Tonels. They're instantly going for their comfort zone. They do tend to hang around this LN department. And I feel like that's going to be their kind of like their field of position here for the majority of this match. Going to be down in that LN/hybrid department. And I mean, they have a lot of LN picks to swing off of. So
Absolutely. And even hybrids as well, if you would count them, 7 to go off by. But we'll have to see how both these players do perform. Again, I think Tomskuu can definitely hold on when it comes to LN. So I think if they can minimize the point difference between Tonel, then they might be pretty comfy. But as already coming in for the intro, Tomskuu definitely finding a lot of 200s, just not really too consistent compared to Tonel. But as long as they can keep, I was going to say as long as they keep on to their combo, they just find a combo break, alright, first quarter, what am I saying?
you're heading.
Okay.
Oh, Tomskuu.
Yeah,
I think
Tomskuu,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, Tomskuu faltering a bit, as you were probably going to say, going to be nearing underneath that 99 range, but I think if they can hold on, they could probably be okay for not too much of a score difference, but kind of struggling to keep up combos, especially finding a couple of those chain misses, but as the map does keep going on, again, it's just that really big test of consistency. You have a ton of those flams, scattered LN releases, even some free no column action, and even some of those mini density bursts as well. So it's a lot to keep your mind on. Could even consider this near enough a wildcard pick as well. But as we do get to the back half of the map, again at 3 minutes, still being pretty much of a stamina pick as well. Tonel is going to be finding that combo break a pretty nasty one as well. But we'll have to see from the back half of the map if things will change.
Yeah, this is an ongoing trend on the side of Tonels, as they do tend to pick up breaks near that back half or back end of the chart. It was very prominent last week against A-Style, and that was actually the catalyst for their losses in those picks. So that was definitely one of their weak sets, but I don't think it's really going to matter here, especially as Tomskuu has been picking up a lot of these breaks near the back half or back end of this chart, as lots of these more staggered shields and releases come raining down. Although it's not the most scariest thing to hit, still that consistency component and that stamina most definitely going to be running out fairly soon. And Tonels going to run away with quite a big lead here, almost 30,000 points in their favor and climbing.
Really nice start from Tonel right here, getting that 29,000 point lead. And see, the thing is, we know that Tomskuu is fairly physical, but if Tonel can just even hold on and not like if Tonel does get into the situation where, you know, they don't win against Tomskuu's picks, but like by a very small margin, I think if he holds on to Tomskuu's picks, it can definitely look towards his favor. But we'll have to see when we do get into Tomskuu's pick. Also, can I say 5 200s and 5 other misjudgments? That perfect balance of 1-1. Very impressive score.
Yeah, that is nasty from the side of Tonels, but gonna open up this match with a very, very commanding score margin. Definitely nothing too much to lose your mind over, as there is plenty of map to go, but we are gonna head into Rice 6, and that's gonna be stop motion.
Alright, one of our technical picks, one of the 3. I think this is going to be our mixed one, if I do remember correctly, at 3 minutes and 9 seconds of drain time.
I believe you are correct about that, as this will be your more tech-oriented mixed Rice pick, and one of the few occasions where the chart hits that 3-minute caliber. Also, 288 BPM!
It is a very brutal map, just to kind of keep on to. Intro roll comes off, but both players still managing it pretty fine, but it's not really where the climax of difficulty does come from. Although we do have a lot more rolls when you get later into the map, so we'll just have to see from both these players and see, well, how much they'll manage it. Now, I think combo doesn't really matter as too much when it does come to here, especially as it is 3 minutes long. But as we do get into when we do see the Ki, we'll expect the scores to kind of be a bit more abrasive, I would say.
Yeah, as we can already see from that opening quarter, very, very close scoring between these two players, as Tomskuu actually going to have a bit of an advantage over Tonels here. Although it's based off just sheer accuracy here, this map does go on for a long time, so there is definitely room of opportunity for breaks. And like you mentioned, very abrasive technical pick with lots of these mixed rice components. You can see these technical patterns, even a bit of some of these I would call like broken like jump streams here and there. Like right here, you kind of see this more broken jump stream sections. Tonels actually gonna pick up a 200 there. Won't do much, but still will give a roughly 1,000-point lead on the side of Tomskuu going into this back half here.
Tonel finding a few 200s outside that broken jump stream section just as it did come to the close, but anything can still happen. Only a 3,000 score difference going into the back half of the map can still mean anything is possible. But looking at these players from a consistency point of view, it doesn't really look like they're slipping anywhere. Like both players are just kind of like that front runner, and it's just going to be whoever runs out of that fatigue, whoever runs the fatigue down a bit more is going to kind of suffer a bit. But even then, I think Tonel did drop a few 200s there on one of those break patterns, and as I said, they do find that drop. It is going to be not handy for them. I cannot find any reward. But as we do get into the back half now, where the trills are raining down, some of the jump trills, Tonel still struggling to keep onto that combo a bit more. Only going to widen the score difference, but as we do get into the back half of the map, we'll have to see if Tomskuu does prevail, or will they keep holding on?
Yeah, as we continue on throughout this chart, Tonels finding a pretty early break, finding a break there, as this map just continues to ramp up in difficulty. And right now, they pick up another break. Tomskuu is really close actually to matching up with the likings of Tonels' score right now, as 29,000 is the mark there, and they're at 25k, and there's another break, and oh my goodness, Tomskuu is going to take the lead and score here by 771 points. They kept that full combo until the very end. 992k as well from Tomskuu. Incredible comeback from them there.
Tonel definitely finding a bit of that fatigue near the end, but also that could be one of the factors that the difficulty did spike up a small bit, but we'll have to see now when Tonel's next pick comes through next, which I think there has to be a pretty, like, if things are going the way that they are right now, as in both teams are getting a score difference like this, then I think Tonel will have to kind of keep that consistency up a bit when it does come to the end. But now Tomskuu getting their second pick, which is actually going to be Korjak, and I think this is actually a pretty strong pick against Tonel.
Yeah, honestly, it makes sense you go for Rice 3, although I could say you probably could have went for a more physically demanding pick, as you did go for Rice 6. There's definitely something along the likings of Rice 5 and Rice 4 that you could have went for. It's really up that physicality range, but Rice 3 is also a pick that you could go for. I feel like it's a bit of a gamble though, as I feel like 140, I believe 148.5 BPM Korjak, not the hardest thing in the world, but I feel like it's just going to be that consistency factor coming from Tonels and Tomskuu, or even if these players just absolutely tear this chart apart, it's going to come down to who has the lesser 300s.
Also to mention, this map is pretty stamina heavy, getting that drain time of 2 minutes 40, so stamina also has to be one of those aspects, and Korjak's stamina is definitely a big aspect to consider when you are playing that compared to something like Jumpstream or Tech. But Tonel not really too comfortable that's be having that pretty wide UR and that drop, which for a Korjak pick, with Tomskuu's consistency, if they can just hold on, this map will already be pretty much decided at this point. But I think Tonel just has to try their best and hold on if they don't really want that score difference to widen that much.
Yes, Tomskuu has an 8,000 point lead. Like you mentioned, nothing too much out of the stretch of the imagination, but that's still quite an early lead for Tomskuu, as it's just going to roughly stay at that 8,000 point range. Although this does Oh, there's another break from Tonels, and now that will increase the lead now to 13,000 points into this chorus here, as the core jacks do get a bit more denser, but nothing too much.
I guess you could probably find the similarity here between MWC's core jack pick, Nobori, as the density it starts to rile up as the map does kind of reach more of its climax. And yeah, Tonal just isn't really able to keep up with that 400 combo despite holding on as well as they can. And just with that score difference, I think he has to get to that 400 combo if it doesn't want to increase anymore. But with Tomskuu just keep holding on, you might as well be playing against Banchobat at this point with just that sheer consistency Tomskuu has. That 99.92 on a 1 minute 48. On a 1 minute. 1 minute. What am I on about? 148 BPM map.
Yeah, they are just absolutely putting this map on cruise control right now, as they are still in that 99.9 range. Basically, Tonels, like I mentioned, going up against Osu top us, and finally we are going to see a break come out of Tomskuu. Well, Tonels not only trades it back once, but adds an extra break as well to the side of Tomskuu. And there's another one as well. That stamina starting to run out here. 37,000 points in favor of Tomskuu and growing almost 40,000. And oh my goodness. 68,000 points in favor of Tomskuu, but still, that difference is only by less than 40,000 points.
I really think 148 isn't really in Tonal's reach when it does come to getting around 990. Still a really good score, but when you have to play accuracy on that level, it can be very hard to manage both BPM and trying to act it as well. But now we're back to Tonal, and it's going to be going for LN2, going to be our density oriented pick, and I think again sticking to LN is probably his best bet.
Yeah, and here we go. Heading back into that LN department, we are going to jump into this pick now. Tonel's looking to regulate here to hopefully get some form of score difference back in their favor here after that Rice 3 score there. But here we go underway with this chart right here. And right now, Tonel's having a very solid beginning.
As the density starts to rise a small bit, like again we do have most of those snappings where, you know, at 214 BPM it is kind of hard to hold on, and Tomskuu going to be faltering a small bit at the outside the intro, having that small rough start of 98, which it probably could be more of a mishap, but we'll have to watch out for that consistency when we do get into the Ki, where we're only going to be wrapping up the difficulty a small bit more. And as the Ki does come in pretty soon, like even finding a combo break here would be pretty detrimental to kind of have those rougher drops, which Tomskuu is going to be faltering a bit more under, unable really to keep up their combo and getting a lot of CB rushes as well.
Yes, and as we progress further, it's just Tomskuu really finding these nasty drops here and there. And on these more heavy release sections as well, lots of these very dense LN holds and releases, staggered releases. And Tonels gonna just up that lead even more as Tomskuu did pick up another break. And we are in this back half. This map is quite lengthy, nearing that 3-minute marker here. And Tonels almost up to 40,000 points of favor here.
Final third with that 30,000 point lead. I definitely think Tonal has to kind of keep holding on if they do want to maybe maximize the score difference, which Tomskuu just still not really able to keep under. Again, you see the LN split frills, you see some of the LN frills as well. The gaps are getting a bit tighter there when it comes to the final quarter, but I just think Tomskuu can't really hold on as much, finding some of those early releases and some of those more straight 200s, almost faltering below the 97 mark. But if Tonal can keep on to that full combo, that plus 50,000 score difference would be able to make him get back in that lead, even with those free to column no areas with some of those weird beats. I think they're still holding on pretty well.
Yeah, and as these full LNs starting to rain down here, Tomskuu, had a bit of a collapse there pretty much, and Tonels, even though that score lead is 75,000 points, that will be regulated down to 50,000 points. And now, an FC from Tonels, that is insane. And they now have 10,000 points back in their favor. And before we head any further, though, we are going to head into our second bans.
So it looks like Tunnel is going to be going for the Rise 2 ban. Going to be jump stream oriented, which not really too surprised about. And for Tomskuu, I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of the LNs again. Probably something like LN. I would guess LN3.
Yeah, probably just gonna opt for one of those long notes too, for as a ban. And yeah, LN4. So we're gonna see Satori Dupont get banned here, which definitely makes sense. Honestly, a very wall heavy. I believe that's like the more wall based chart, and it makes sense that you go for something like that as a ban. Very, very heavy. I believe that's like 230 something BPM walls. So very uncomfortable to play, and Tonel's going to opt for a Rise 2 ban. Makes sense. Heavy, I believe. I can't remember what BPM exactly it is, but I think it's like 270 something jump stream. Very, very tricky to nail. So probably just going to try to minimize Tomskuu's opportunities here. And Tomskuu going to stick to that Rice department and head for Rice 5. So going to head back into that more abrasive mixed Rice.
All right, map 5 coming out the way now. I think this is going to be our tech dump pick, if I do remember correctly.
Yeah, a more technical-based dump pick. I think you have it on the ball there. Still, very, very, very uncomfortable pick here. And I feel like maybe Tomskuu just going to continue that pattern of just trying to get Tonels to find breaks on these more uncomfortable sections of these charts here, which we have seen in previous Rice picks. So just going with their guts.
Yep, you have to keep a lot of guts to sustain this map pretty much as well. At 3 minutes 25, like you need a lot of them to sustain the end of this map, but we have to see how both these players do manage. Again, I think this is going to be one of our longest picks at adrenaline for nearly 3.5 minutes. And in ordinary Snow fashion, you know what you're kind of expecting from this. Very brutal tech, and we just have the map play out itself. Show don't tell, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, you put it there right. As I feel like also alongside how tricky this tech/dump can get, I feel like a big key takeaway as well is just how long this chart can be. Almost 3.5 minutes, like you mentioned, which could probably wear off the more consistency of the player, which I know Tonels is very strong with the stamina, but I mean, we have seen how Tomskuu plays, but actually we are going to see the script be flipped here early on in this chart. Tomskuu going to actually find the first break, but still nothing too major as this map did begin, and we still have a lot to go, but still a bit interesting to see.
Most of this map for the first half, again, pretty straightforward. A couple of your 1/4 jump stream along with some of those 1/6 as well, which both players still managed to hold on very well. It was just that unfortunate miss from Tomskuu. But as we do get into the back half, we're going to be seeing a lot more of those abrasive patterns, a lot more of those different snappings as well, and a lot more of those, I guess, split up balances as well.
Yeah, and as we head into a bit more of a mini jack, heavy, broken jump, like pretty much everything with these streams, these bursts, more of these nasty mini jacks being put in place. Tonels and Tomskuu do trade breaks. The lead slightly in Tonels' favor here, and Tomskuu going to add an extra break to the mix as well. But nothing too much here, as Tonels does have a 9,000, almost 10,000 now point lead in their favor here.
Heading into the back half of the map, it's still prevailing. Just really your tech dump consistency at this point. heading into the end. Will both players sustain and keep that full combo up? A bit more of those trills. Sorry for the commentator, Chris Tomskuu, finding that drop again. But as the trills do reign the final part, Tonels, you are slightly ever so consistent, but as the outro of the map does come to a close, I think it's safe to say that Tonel does have this breakpoint in the bag. A very significant point that they will be snagging.
Yeah, a very important point for Tonels as they do get the extra insurance on the points there, 24,000 in their favor.
Yep, very impressive scores by both people. Tomskuu having that much better PA, but when it comes to the miscount as well, that is something you also have to take a factor in. So I think when we get into pick number 6, I do believe it's going to be Tonel's pick. Is this the final pick, if I do remember correctly as well? Or do we have another one?
I believe there's 2 more after this. I think. Hold on, let me just double check. Yes, we do have 2 more after this. We have Tonels and Tomskoo's last pick after this chart, which is going to be LN5, a bit more of a dense LN release chart, I would say.
And even then, look at that stirring. It'll be kind of more streamy LN, as you were saying. A bit more of that coordination as well, a bit of that density. Kind of you would guess wildcard. Tomskuu finding that first drop at the intro of the map. But it is 2 minutes long as well, which is something you also kind of got to keep your eye on. Tomskuu finding that drop at the start, not really the worst place you could find a miss. But when we do get into near the second half of the map, Tonel actually training it back, but still having the accuracy advantage. But as we do get through the intro, where we just kind of have a lot of those 270 light stream LN bursts, we'll have to see how both these players do manage when we do get into the rest of the map.
Yeah, as we head into more of the. I mean, this is 277 BPM, fast LN stream, coordination like you mentioned earlier. But Tonels right now just taking it sheerly on the accuracy side. But Tomskuu, the combo is there, but oh, they find the brick as I say that. And that will throw the lead in favor of Tonels even more, if not, if it wasn't apparent already. As there is still more of this map left to go, but that was now up to into almost 20,000 points now.
And it is going to be kind of hard to recover at this point. Tonel does have to find a drop, which is definitely possible. And on a pick like this as well, will be more prone to more nastier drops, taking more of that accuracy chunk. But as we do get into the ending, a bit of that jump stream and hand stream near the end, getting that big Ryla density up. But both players are still holding on very well. We'll have to see if they will prevail. Will the score difference stay the same, or will a mishap happen between either player? Final stream burst coming in, a lot more of those jumps, and as the outro comes out, Tomskuu finding that drop, and that is going to be it. 28,000 point lead. And I do believe, actually, this is going to be technically match point for Tonel nearly, as if they do manage to take a break point off Tomskuu for the next map, I do believe.
Yeah, I feel like I believe, yeah, this is the last pick of the. So you are correct. This is potentially a match point situation for Tonels to eliminate Tomskuu from the tournament here, as they, I believe. Oh, they're gonna go for the best song in the pool. I like to go off topic here. Yeah, this song is incredible. I don't know why, but Hybrid 2 is the greatest song for each for each round.
Climax of this tournament.
Exactly. But anywho,
Yep. So, not really too sure what hybrid this is. I think if I do remember correctly, it's more jack-oriented hybrid, but I'm not really too sure. I guess we'll just let the map play out. Or it could be technical hybrid. I'm out between one of those two.
I think you're right on both occasions. There is a lot of technical components. As you can see, lots of these very staggered releases, some of these shields as well being very awkward. You basically don't know what snapping you are playing this chart on, but there are also a lot of jack heavy sections here and there on these hybrid slash LNs here. And Tomskuu going to open up this chart with an early break, but nothing too much out of the stretch of the imagination as this map just began. It is quite long, 3 minutes and to go on the charts here. And right now, Tonels will have a slight lead here, but nothing too much, as this map does progress in difficulty, especially when Kendrick's verse does come in here.
Yep, and you'll be pretty much falling into every single bit of dump. Again, seeing a lot more of those scattered releases. Both players actually taking a bit of an accuracy drop, including Tomskuu, who actually does find a combo break as well, which is not really going to be favoring them. So I think Tonel definitely has to climb up their accuracy a bit if they do want to prevail that lead a bit more and kind of have that safety net between Tomskuu's next pick.
Yeah, and I feel like also if Tonels does get the 50,000 points here, they can just cut this match short. As I feel like, I believe after this it will be a 100,000 point difference. But I mean, right now Tomskuu doing a very wonderful job keeping this lead not too far in favor of the opposing player of Tonels right now. But like I said, we are in the back half, and the map does pick up in the in Kendrick's verse.
And yeah, as you were saying, when the pickups, Tonel actually going to be losing their full combo as well. So this is Tomskuu's time to climb back over, take advantage of that. They probably can't see it unless they have the player overlay on, but who has that? It's too nerve-wracking. But again, Tonel's accuracy is a lot more significant than when it comes to Tomskuu. So I think if Tonel can just recover from that, I think they could be in for a pretty nice lead when it does come to later, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, here comes Kendrick's verse where things do get a bit more heavy, as I believe it's a lot more vocal dump as well. I will say, and Tonels does actually break on the section, and Tomskuu is picking up that score, but I feel like it's too late to actually form a lead on Tomskuu's side, but they are still doing a very awesome job at keeping that score difference very, very close.
Just nearing the end now. Tonel actually still finding that break. Is there any chance for Tomskuu? Never mind, Tomskuu is going to find that trade, which is only going to be actually, hold on. I know I've been saying this a lot, but with the outro, you don't know who's going to find misses. Tomskuu's going to be knocked down underneath that 99 mark. And that was actually a pretty scary ending. Both players finding a lot of those chokes near the end. But at the end of the day, Tonel was the one who managed to hold on a lot more, actually getting a pretty clean PA as well.
Yeah, very clean PA on the side. And we are now in with the final pick of this match until we either see a winner or we head into final scoring.
All right, so Tomskuu has to win this next pick by, as a matter of fact, 16,000 points. Like, exactly on the dot, I think.
Yes.
So I would not be too surprised if Tomskuu would be jumping into Rice 4, the last Rice pick. I don't really think there's anywhere else you can go. It's either between Rice 4 or Hybrid 1, which, after how LN4 went, I think Tomskuu would want to go down that route again.
Yeah, we are going to have to see what they want to go for here. And so far it looks like they did get mixed up. We already played Rice 5. Rice 3 is still on the board. I mean Rice 4. Oops.
And yeah, it looks like Tomskuu is going to be going for the final Rice pick. Going to be our, I think, just more simple tech pick. Not simple tech pick. How can tech be simple?
Yeah, so they are going to. Oh yes.
But okay, yeah, they're going to be going, as you were saying, they were going to go into Rice 4. But I don't think there's much we can talk about. It's just going to be kind of more of your Simple freestyle tech pick, I guess.
Yeah, very free technical pick. Very short as well, only about 2.5 minutes. So, not the shortest pick we have, but it is kind of a blink and you'll miss it deal right now, and very abrasive. Although it says 122, I would like to double that and go 244, which definitely makes sense here. And right now, the lead's actually on Tomskoo's side. It's more or less that lead needs to stay on their side, and it also needs to be big enough to where it's less or more than 50,000. Or I don't know, it needs to be less than 50,000 of a difference by the end of this pick, or else they lose this match and are eliminated. And right now, Tonels actually finding an early break.
Alright, I think Tunnel definitely has to hold on, especially now this map is only 2.5 minutes, so combo breaks will be a lot more brutal to deal with. But as the map does kind of rile up a bit, we do have some more of those mini jacks and some of those weird streams on a lot of those different snappings. Around 240s, while Tunnel just not really able to keep up with that map, finding that next combo break, which would score difference right now. And Tomskoo's consistency, I already think this map is going to be pretty much in the binding at this point.
Yeah, I don't think there's much left that could really happen. Our client is taking its hefty, taking a hot minute, getting everything back in place. And oh, tunnels. I don't like this.
I don't think that was a disconnect. Was it a disconnect? I think it looks like a disconnect.
Oh no, we are. I think that might be a disconnect on the side of tunnels. You might be right.
Well, if the score is sent. If the score is sent by a screenshot, then I guess we can see what the difference would be. But if I had to guess after what happened near the middle, I think we'll get into final scoring now.
Yeah, I think you are right. We are going to see final scoring come out here.
So yeah, it's time for tiebreaker, guys. Ooh.
The second time in a row, we're heading into final scoring. And still waiting for a sign of life from Tonels.
Seems like no response yet, but I think if the score difference was... Oh, hold on.
We love this DJ Bancho right now.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Still waiting on Tonal, but... Okay, we got the panic button hit at least, so we don't have to hear whatever.
Phew.
Oh, wait, hold
And,
on.
oh.
Was he playing? He was playing. Okay.
Oh!
Alright. Maybe his score probably still a bit, if I had to guess. Oh, there we go. Okay,
Oh, but
so...
there's the screenshot.
46,000 point difference. Okay. So that
So we are
actually...
heading to final scoring.
Yeah. So that actually gives Tunnel a small bit of that advantage. So around 16,000 point lead. But the thing is, just kind of looking from Tunnel from the last few maps and kind of not really able to keep up with that physical a small bit. I think Tomskuu might have the opportunity to get that point difference and maybe take out Tunnel.
Yes, and here we go. I feel like, honestly, this chart filled to the brim with lots of shields, lots of these nasty Ellen components, some very dense rice. So I feel like it's going to be benefiting both sides. We have seen the pattern and by Tonels. Tomskuu more have favored on the denser rice, while Tonels heavily focused on the LN side of things.
Yeah.
But
And
where is Tonels?
I have no idea.
Did they DC again?
I'm not really too
Um,
sure.
oh, they're asking for a re-invite. I think they might have just reset their clients, or something might have happened. Maybe their Osu crashed. But either way, we are back and we are headed into our final scoring.
All right. So this map is pretty physical. Like definitely a big step up compared to. Okay, never mind. It was a 19,000 point difference. So Tomskuu has to get at least 19,002 points of a victory if they want to keep their way into the semifinals. I do believe.
No, wait, is this a conditional? I don't know if this is. No, this is most definitely not. This is a Saturday match. So, yeah, whoever wins this, I believe, will either go up against Manuelchi or Very Sour,
Gonna
which
be
will be
also
all tomorrow.
gonna be also some pretty interesting matches to watch.
Yes, for definitely. And we are just still waiting for these players to ready up and get ready. And I am excited for this because, like I mentioned, these benefit both players.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think if Tonel's physical does falter a bit, Tomskuu definitely will be in the more the advantage. But now we're just waiting for really for disconnect.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
probably wasn't ever disconnect.
Tomskuu, we are stalling! We gotta get that ad revenue, even though we're not affiliate.
Oh, okay, here we go. Both players back in. We can get stuff started now.
Hooray!
Here we go. We can get into our final scoring. And yep, 5 minutes 37. Let's hope your stamina is pretty much able to keep up with everything. Gonna be pretty much a throw of every skill set that we have seen through. Bit of that density, bit of that rice as well. And near the start, Tomskuu finds that break, but again, with a map that is 5 minutes and 30 seconds long, breaks are probably to be seen a bit more commonly, but now coming out to start, Tull kind of struggling to keep their combo small bit when it comes out from the intro, so I think Tomskuu could just kind of hold on, especially when you're just getting a 220 BPM broken jump stream, along with some of those mini jacks as well with some LNs, throwing everything at you pretty much.
Yeah, there's pretty much this map pretty much has everything that, pretty much everything thrown at you, like you said. And there's like a heavy balance of there being heavy rice, heavy LN, and a mix of hybrids as well here and there. Very heavy shield sections, and Tonels actually really struggling on the more physical side here.
Honestly, I think both players are kind of struggling to keep up with the combo. Like, when you see the lifetime of like the players getting up to 400 combo, it's just you can't really see them at all. But it's just really about this map's layout. Of course, you have a lot of those mini jacks at 220 BPM, which is not really gonna be everyone's cup of tea, pretty much. Especially some of those side mini jacks as well, accompanied by some of the LNs. And coming out of the first quarter, Tomskuu does have that advantage of around 19,000 points, like he does need. But I think Tonal
Yes.
definitely has to focus up a small bit through the next area of the map, if he does want to keep in.
And I mean, Tomskuu is only roughly, and I mean, Tomskuu is currently in the lead right now. If they can keep this 20,000 point lead on their side, they can actually take this match. It may not be by much, but it's still going to be something. But they still have a long ways to go. We are a third of the way done in this map. And I mean, we have seen breaks from Tonels, but I mean, Tomskuu, I believe, just found one.
Yeah, and with Tonal now, the 400 combo cap, I think if they can hold on to their combo through the second half of the map, but which does spike the density and more of those technical aspects a small bit, I think they can at least squish the score gap a bit smaller. But now with some time to gain from Tomskuu with this section, I think it's going to be whoever misses first at this next section might be one of the more deciding factors.
Yeah, I feel like this is the next section. And Tonels going to open up that transition with a break, but Tomskuu not too far behind, trading those breaks as well. And the Tonels going to pick up more on these very fast streams, these LNs, just basically giving you a jump scare pretty much. And Tomskuu going to find another one as well. Tomskuu finding extra breaks, but Tonels hasn't even picked up the 400 combo cap yet. It's basically everyone missing, but Tonels finally getting a form of combo here that will shrink the lead down to 13,000 points. It will stay on their side, however, and Tonels and Tomskuu trade back these misses. Tonels adding an extra one. Tonels breaking even more. They are right back to where they started at this opening before we got into this very dense section. And it's now almost 19,000 points of difference. Tomskuu is right back up to basically almost there to take this lead and snipe it out of Tonels' hands almost. It is insanely close.
Alright, here we are, having the final quarter left. It's still all or nothing. If Tonal can just keep holding on, Tomskuu finding that miss, and they're just both trading it back. It just needs to be one player who keeps that combo above 400. But when the density does roll in with a lot more of those jacks at 110 BPM, I do believe, it's going to be hard to see. It is still very cloudy. Tomskuu taking that accuracy drop by a significant margin. Only 13,000 score difference left going into the final A for the map. Anything can still happen as we are still yet to approach the climax of difficulty near the end. We will just have to see who's going to be able to hold on as some of the density starts rising back up again, but still a bit more on the lighter side. We'll have to see who's able to keep up.
And right now, if Tomskuu doesn't get above 20k, and I mean, there is basically nothing left of this chart as it starts to conclude here. There is still maybe some choking points here and there, but I don't think the density is nowhere close to where Tonels can give up anything on the side of their, basically on the side of their score right now. And as a matter of fact, that lead is starting to shrink, and Tomskuu gonna add insult to injury and pick up a couple breaks, and even more, and 800 points of difference, but that won't matter.
It's gonna go back to Tonal.
Wait, will it? Is there enough map?
Oh my god, 96
points. 96! Okay.
Imagine, imagine this is an actual tiebreaker. That would be really funny.
Yeah, imagine that was you gotta put that in the, imagine that was an actual tiebreaker. And we got there. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that will do it. Tonels will be taking this match. Very, very close. I think it was that was insane. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to catch my breath here after that.
Alright, well done to both players. And unfortunately, how this is, I do believe a losers bracket match. That means Tomskuu will be departing from us today. So
yes,
Tonal will be advancing on to, I do believe, our second conditional, where they'll be facing either, I do believe, Manuelchi versus, I'm not too sure.
Either Manuelchi or Very Sour, which that should be happening fairly soon, actually.
Yeah, you'll be correct. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, but for now, we will be taking a break. We will be back at, I believe, 16 UTC for our next match, which will actually be Manuelchi versus Very Sour. But for now, that will be at 16 UTC. So for now, I've been Aerosonic commentating this match alongside Nightcore.
Hello.
and we will see you all later. Goodbye, everyone.